things. I worship you. You're the reason for my being, the anchor to my soul. You're the way maker, end of my search. For these and more I say, you're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. Savior of my life, I worship you. Joy to the nations, I worship you. You're the reason for my song. I love to sing your praise. You're the way maker, end of my search. For these and more I say, you're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're the first and the last. Jesus, you're a wonder to my soul. The one that died, the one who rise, the one who lives forever. Yes, and that's right, and live forever. You're a wonder. I worship you. Oh yeah. Sidarabaros. Maker of all things, I worship.
Are you hearing us? Are you hearing us? Are you hearing us? Are you hearing us?
I worship you. You're the reason for my being, the anchor to my soul. You're the way maker, end of my search. For these and more I say, you're a wonder, you're a wonder, you're a wonder to my soul.
Praise God. It's another wonderful afternoon here. We are here for the Different Men talk show. All right. So you joined us yesterday. It was an awesome session. We were interviewing some businessmen here, and we looked at how people can be different in the workspace of the Nigerian environment, despite all the corruption that some people have talked about. And it looked like it's not possible to be a Christian and do business like a Christian in the Nigerian workspace. So we also looked at some artisans there, and then we interviewed them, and then they gave us their experiences in this landscape, how they were able to not maneuver, how they were able to deliberately make a stand as far as rights is concerned, even in this seemingly perverse environment. I don't know why you want to add one or two things to that.
God compensated them. People knew them that this man will stand for the truth, that what he's saying is the truth, though challenging, but they began to see God's and blessings by sticking to the path of integrity and the truth.
All right, so this is the Different Men talk show. Hallelujah. So we are not just showcasing people who are recorded in scriptures as standing for righteousness. We are also showcasing people there who actually are standing for that righteousness in their different work environments. People who are mechanics. We talked to a mechanic yesterday, and we also talked to a carpenter. Baba Debisi was here, and then they showed us how some of them initially weren't doing the right thing, but something happened, so they took a stand and they decided to start doing the right thing. So I'm sure that some people joining us now also, if you were here yesterday, you could have heard us when we were pushing this line of thought and change, that you can actually make a decision right there. You can make a decision even today to begin to do the right thing. You can make a decision to be different in your environment. You can make a decision to do the right thing. And if you start today, it will still be good. And if we have this level of difference manifesting in our vocations in different places all over Nigeria, Nigeria has hope. Sincerely, Nigeria has hope. If this thing continues this way, Nigeria really has hope. Well, we believe that by God's grace, when we are able to manifest Christ in our different workspaces, we will be able to see a better nation. All right. So to this afternoon, we are going to be showcasing some people in the academic space, and we're also going to be showcasing some people also who have also operated in the space of the public servants. So that we're on our guest to this afternoon. Our first guest is a teacher, and we are in the educationist angle. We are having a school teacher, a primary school teacher, and then we are also having a university lecturer. Okay, so we are having Mr. Sunday Malaolu, who is a teacher at Excel Kiddies Foundation in Onikoko in Abeokuta here, Ogun State. He has been in active service as a professional teacher since 1998. So he's been over 20 years as a primary school teacher. And he's the HOD, Heart, Social Sciences and Vocational Studies, is in that space there. So he has a master's degree in educational administration and planning, and then is married, definitely with blessed with a child, wonderful child. And that's going to be our guest this afternoon. He's going to be sharing his experiences with us, taking a stand his own perspective is going to be coming from the angle of somebody committed not just to a vision, not just working for money. So let's have our guest, Mr. Sunday Malaolu. Thank you. Please join us.
Share your experiences with us, being a different school teacher, the pains and the gains.
I may start by presenting who I am. My name is Festus Oluwasegun Sunday Malaolu. I've been a teacher for over 23 years now professionally. I work at Excel Kiddies Foundation, Onikoko, a mission school. I think one of the things that I've seen in my life that have made me to stand out as a teacher is being honest and diligent to the calling which God has chosen me to toe the path. Though I have several options of what I'm supposed to have done in life, either to have been a sports commentator or to have been a lawyer, because I remember my uncle called me a day and said, there are 3 jobs I have seen that you can do. Either you become a lawyer, a sports commentator, or a teacher. But along the line, after finishing my secondary school, I saw myself teaching. But after some time, I had God telling me, I want you to raise children for me. Okay. I have had opportunities to move out of this job. But because it's a calling which God has given to me, that is what is making me to still stay in it. I think about 5, 6, 7 years back, I had an opportunity to work with Shell in Port Harcourt. I got an interview date, but while praying, the Holy Spirit specifically told me not to move out of what God has asked me to do. If I had gone, possibly I would have been dead now. Because some of my mates that went there on their way coming back, they had an accident and I lost about 3 of them, and which could have been me. But because God particularly told me, don't move out, I stayed. Even at the government job, I had the opportunity to go there to make money. Even one of them just got married this last Saturday. And I've seen him doing well, not only in his profession, but also doing well for God. In fact, during the wedding, I met one that is even a reverend now. I taught him how to touch child, and I have several of them doing well. There was a time when I wanted to start building. I entered in the First Bank at Pasheke to cash the check that was given to me. Surprisingly, this young man just stood up, prostrated in front of me. I was looking at him. Sorry, I don't know you. He said, you don't know me, but I know you. You taught me a total child. My name is Shehu, something like this. He collected the check from me. People started murmuring, oh. He said, Emma Binu, I want to baby David, our daily in the Tom Bakowa, who wouldn't have been here. He took the check from me. He processed the check. He answered me. I got my money and I got out of the bank. And several of them have been meeting like that, doing well. But my joy is that I'm seeing them doing well. And God, in his own infinite mercy, has not failed me. Those are particularly most of the gains that I have.
All right. That was Mr. Sunday Malaolu there, showing us on commitment a teacher could have, not just to be working for money, but to work in fulfillment of a particular vision. I don't know what you want to add to that, Mr. Dr. Bukunmi.
In the context of making a difference, it is not every opportunity that a man should jump at. In making your difference, it has to be what you are persuaded, this is what God wants me to do. So sometimes it is not just on the way we measure success that is the way God measures success. A housemaster that is faithfully raising boys in his hostel, and he has trained 1, 2, 3, 15 set of boys and impacting them with the life of Christ. That man is making so much difference, probably much more than somebody else that abandoned that post and went to do something else. The most important thing is, what does God want you to do? Are you faithfully doing it? Because that is where we will mark your difference. Thank you.
All right, so without any much wasting of time, we have another lecturer. You know, the challenges of a primary school teacher is not the same thing as when you get to the World Sports University, where you have people who when a lecturer is different, you don't need to struggle to know. Just ask the students. An average student in an average university can tell you the lecturers that are different. It will tell you, if you mention, I was just saying this in the first session, that we suggested the name of a lecturer in passing when we were trying to get people to bring up to showcase their difference. Yeah. And then I mentioned the name of a particular reverend. And then in the studio here, everybody just shouted and said, no, this is not a different man at all. This is the normal, in fact, you know. So despite this, so people are not different because they are pastors. No. They are not different because they are, you know, claiming to be born again or attending Pentecostal churches or whatever, or their name is Sunday or Jesus or something. They are not different because of what their name is or the kind of church. They are not even different because they attend some holiness churches or something. They are different because they are different. And when they are different, like we read in 1 Thessalonians 2, chapter 5, verse 5 and verse 10, the verse 5 says, God is witness. Then verse 10 says, even you, the people, you are witnesses. So there must be two levels of witnesses to every unique stand for righteousness, God must be a witness. Then secondly, and even the people should be able to witness. So if you are working in a place and God is not a witness that you are righteous, or you feel God is a witness, and the people that are working with us cannot
exactly to your way of life,
cannot attest to your way of life and say, no, this guy is different here.
So Apostle Paul said, I strive to have a conscience void of offense before God and before men.
Yes. So we have a lecturer in the house that we're taking here this afternoon, who is has a doctorate degree in veterinary anatomy with a professional career spanning over 14 years. Dr. Lekon Adebayo is coming to us this afternoon on set, and he's the head of Department of Veterinary Anatomy, also in the Federal University of Agriculture, Bekuta here, and also a member of the Senate at the Federal University of Agriculture here. He has received several awards from international and national organizations and is happily married. He is someone that has demonstrated some level of difference in his workspace. And so we're going over to him now to share his experiences with us in standing different as a different in his workplace as a lecturer. Over to you, Dr. Adebayo.
We have a testimony of you being different as a lecturer amongst many others. What life principles inspire this?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be on the National Men's Summit, and I'm glad to be here. We're talking about how I became a different lecturer and what inspiring principle I had that, and of course, my personal testimony. For me, becoming a lecturer was a mission. I needed to become a lecturer because I had a sense of purpose. In my view, I wanted to impact lives. And of course, by the time I became a lecturer, I had a different focus in becoming a lecturer. I wanted to impact knowledge and I wanted to impact life. I saw every student that I had as a potential destiny going somewhere to happen. I do not see my students as people I'm just to impact knowledge into. I saw them as a set of young men that God had brought my way. I wanted to impact lives. I wanted to touch these young Nigerians. All right. I don't need to look for them going from house to house. Through the workings of JAMB, a number of capable, strong, agile Nigerians are presented to me. All right. So, take for instance, the university where I worked, we have about 4,000 students that comes in every year. And I saw these young men as God presenting their lives to me for me to impact within a given period of time. So I needed to put myself together and make sure that I'm not just here to impact the knowledge, but I am privileged to be part of their lives so that their lives can be impacted. And so that informed my uniqueness in both my lecturing and in my approach to their lives. That is exactly what informs it.
Share your experience with us. in being different as a lecturer?
Like I said, I had a mission. And my mission, like I said earlier, was to impact life. It is true that we have quite a number of tempting things as lecturers. Of course, the money is there if you want to go through that way. There is a way you can talk to the students. But that was not my focus. That was not why I am there. And let me say equivocally that it is possible to raise yourself up and do the right thing. I remember this about 2 years ago, I had to be a visiting professor in a university in China. And there you have so many things. I had to interact with a lot of international students. And the temptation was there, very heavy. As a matter of fact, in that school, it is virtually the norm that most international scholars that comes there to handle some of these international students, they end up sleeping with them. So for me, because I came with a whole sense of purpose, quite a number of people were looking at me as though I am not a normal person. I mean, you can imagine that. I remember one of my professors, one of the Chinese professors, called me one day and said, you have all the African girls, you have all the people around, you have even the Chinese girls around. Why are you not doing this? I mean, we are not a normal person. I mean, that looks strange to me because I was completely different. But I tell you what, it is possible to stand out. Of course, I'm not saying it is easy. But it is possible. You can actually be different. You can dare to be different. And what has motivated me is the fact that I have a clear-cut vision. I have a clear-cut mission. I believe that everybody that God privileges me to interact with must have a touch of Jesus.
What are the pains or losses you have suffered for choosing to be different?
There are quite a number of things that you lose if you are a non-conformist. There is no doubt about it. You are going to lose quite a number of things. Now, one of the losses you are going to have is rejection. All right? People are not going to find it comfortable with you to relate with you. I suffered this as a visiting scholar outside of this country. I mean, to interest you that some of this thing that we're saying is not only in Nigeria. You have it even in other places that you least expect it, or you least expect to have it. I remember that, like I told you, when I traveled out, I discovered that I suffered a lot of rejection because, in a way, there were quite a number of things they wanted to use me for, that they discovered that I wasn't just cut out for that. And they didn't like me. Quite a number of information that is very important for me, they deprived me of it, of course. And then you find out that you suffer, like I remember that generally they will always bring most of the scholars together and they will send you to you're supposed to have a get-together and all that, particularly when you write papers and the publication became so wonderful, it's supposed to be celebrated and what have you. But I remember that in my own time, I was deprived of that. They didn't allow me. They didn't call me for anything. All right? And most of the informations, I get to hear it on the corridor when I'm supposed to be given this information as a senior person. So you suffer rejection. Another thing I suffered is misconception. A lot of people believe that you are not, you are this kind of queer person, like they used to put it. They see you as an uninteresting person. Another problem I had is what I call emotional problems. And I'll give you an example, all right? In teaching the lives of some of these children, I used to feel so bad when the people you actually want to help, the people you want to give Christ to, you end up finding out that they also have some misgivings about you. They look at you and say, this man is not just what we expect him to be. Now, I see a lot of some of the students themselves showing a high level of disrespect because they feel that after all, we can always get to somebody better and we can get this thing. And let me say clearly here, it's not only lecturers that demand for things. Some of these students are ready to even give you without you demanding for it. And if they discover that you are not ready to take it, they can begin to show terrible attitudes to you, all right? And that could be highly emotionally depressing, all right? I experienced that. And one other thing that I discovered, or one other loss, is the sense of frustration. You find out that you get so frustrated when the people you are laboring to impact lives to impact knowledge into, they are not just receptive. All right, and at the end of it all, of course, they have limited time to stay with you. At the end of their stay with you, you look at their lives and there is nothing to show for it. I'll give you an example. Some time ago, there's a young lady that I followed up right from her 200 level, and she's been with me, she's been doing well and all that, only for her to get to the 600 level, and she had a mental challenge. And I needed to be with her. I remember that when she was writing the final exam, I had to go to the exam hall, stay behind her, and keep talking to her. But look, the Lord will help you. And she was able to graduate. And when she graduated, I remember that by the wonderful hands of God, she got a job as a lecturer. And I was so happy. And just this year, at about May, the father just called me and told me that, do you know that so-and-so person died this morning? It was so shattering. It was so terrible that somebody that you had labored for, that you look, this is just a 27-year-old young lady doing well. And for me, that was very shattering because I can't explain what happened. She wasn't sick. She just finished lecturing and she told me, she came to my office and told me, Daddy, I'm traveling, I want to go home. And that was the last I heard of her. Only to be told it was her father that called me. So I had such a pain when you see people, young people that have passed through. Now, the frustration for me is that what happened to this young lady? Why the devil snatched this woman? You can't tell me that the girl that died at the age of 27 has fulfilled their mission. No, I would like to hear that. Not a girl I have labored for since when she was in 200 level. So these are some of the frustration that you see in this work. This is a major sense of loss for me, because I look forward to raising such a person and making her somebody. Looking forward to her getting married, looking forward to her being settled and all that. So these are some of the things that constitute loss as far as I'm concerned.
What are the gains that have come as a result of being different?
Oh, that is wonderful. Let me first of all say that I could put the gain in maybe three levels. The first gain you have is that God will naturally settle you. God will naturally take care of you. I remember that even though I was seen as a nonconformist in some of the places I traveled to lecture, I'm glad to say here that it was so shocking. I remember the very last day I was to leave China and they had a get-together for me. I remember my most senior professor looked straight at me and said, honestly speaking, we have found a person that is so different. And surprisingly, all the things that I have been deprived of, that day, the man ordered that everything be paid to me. So really, I suffered for it. But that suffering, it wasn't a suffering. It was actually keeping for me what God has in stock. It's so rewarding to be faithful. I want to tell you that it's so rewarding to be faithful. I want to say clearly here, I lost nothing. Everything they needed to give me, I got it. Now, that is on one level. On the side of even the students themselves, that you never took advantage of. Oh, you will gain a lot of things from them. You will get a lot of things from them. I remember sometimes ago, I also traveled out to work somewhere, and I met a young Ugandan guy who was studying human medicine. And by the time we were through, right, the young fellow called me and said, Dr. Adebayo, I want to tell you today that we never knew what Christianity really means until we met you. I want to tell you that everybody that has come before you showed us polluted Christianity until you came our way, and we want to eternally be grateful to you. We want to tell you that you have shown us that in the midst of every contradiction, it is possible to have somebody to be a Christian. And for me, that was such a great commendation that is beyond expression. And you need to see what this young man did. And I also want to say here that even in the place I lecture here, some of the students, by the time you have actually impacted their lives, it will shock you what they can do for you. All right, just recently we had a program with the templates, and one of my young daughters that I never even knew that this young girl is doing very well and all that. I didn't know. She just heard about the program. And then she gave me a call and said, you want to do a program and you didn't even tell me. And said, please send me your account number. And honestly speaking, she footed the bill, the entire bill of the program. Now, those are the things that are so encouraging. Just some time ago, one of the young students that I brought up here in Abeokuta, that I trained, I worked on her, the Lord really helped us, to groom her. Just recently just called me, and she told me that, Dr. Adebayo, I just want to tell you that I've relocated to Canada, myself and my wife and my 3 children. We're doing very well. That bubbles me up. That is so exciting to me. And for me, this is beyond talking about any monetary gain. You can gain a lot by putting your stand. I'm happy that all the students that passed through me, they have a positive testimony of the goodness and the faithfulness of God in their lives, of the fact that true and righteous Christianity is a possibility, and of the fact that yes, if there is no example to look up to, we can talk about Dr. Adebayo. That is more than any gain for me. And for me, I think that is so exciting. That is what I want to achieve. And of course, I gain the eternity of all of them. Because my own purpose, my vision in life is to see to it that anybody I meet, their lives are turned around. Jesus is established in them. And from the testimonies of quite a number of them that are coming to me, the testimonies are good. I feel excited about it. I feel fulfilled about it. And I look forward to impacting more lives to the glory of God.
Dr. Adebayo there, and was an awesome testimony from him being different as a lecturer, and he having the witness of several other people, whether both people that were working with him here and his students and the people that encountered him when he traveled out of the country for a particular course right there in China. And you know, that's an awesome testimony to have, that if everybody thinks that all lecturers are flirtish and they run around with the students and take advantage of the sexuality of their students, and you know, do all this sex for marks, sex for money and all that, and if you feel like that, there's so many lecturers even up till now who are standing different with integrity and doing the job, not necessarily just for the money, but with a passion to create impact in some other people's lives. I don't know whether you. This is my guest tonight, this afternoon, Mr. Da Costa Adeoye happens to be one of our Central Executive Council members in School of Virtue. So you joining me, want to say something about that?
Pastor Shegun, thanks so much for having me. That China story caught my attention. And irrespective of the geographical location as a child.
And he was offered, he said the Chinese girls are there,
girls were there,
girls
the
are
other
there.
African girls.
I mean, everybody coming here normally does this.
And he stood out, he refused to do it, and that really helped him. He became a great point of influence and a point of reference among those people. And that really brought him out. And you remember that he said also that all what he's been deprived of, at the end of everything, he could say he had lost nothing. He got it on a more honorable way, on a more honorable platform, and that was the message we are talking about. And one of the guys that he trained over there, I think he was talking there, he was this Ugandan guy, said that he has seen, for the first time in his life, he has seen who a true Christian is in him. And that is the message. That is the gospel. That is what we are talking about. That somebody could say that seeing him for the first time is seeing a true Christian, that demonstrate a true demonstration of what a Christian should be. And that really is the message, and very interesting. And that's some of the kind of thing that we need at this particular time.
All right, thank you so much there. So we've seen a lecturer who is not running around with the ladies. Yeah. All right, so and then he was also able to bring us a perspective of how you could bring passion into this thing, and you demonstrate a difference. And you went somewhere, and then people said you are the first person that's going to show us. You are the first person we are seeing that is really going to show us who a Christian is, because for the first time, those people are noticing. And you know, it's amazing that people are noticing. You can be speaking in tongues and even be the chaplain of the university, but they don't, even if you are doing it in secret, people know. It's amazing how people know. You know, it's always most of this sleeping around with students. It's amazing how people know, because it doesn't even happen in the open, but people know. Even if you are the one that is always acting holy and you are doing all these things, people know. Number one, God knows. Number two, people know. And one day it will come to you. One day. And, you know, imagine we had all these terrible stories from University of one of the universities in the nation, where one reverend also was indicted, and then BBC, as if it's BBC or CNN, that did an interview in somewhere very close by, and then they actually brought out a practical, you know, they brought out the video, how the hidden, exactly, and they also showed where the lecturer was preaching to the students to give her life to
two sides. How he was trying to get at the lady.
Yes.
And he also showed how he was
preaching in church and preaching to the lady to even give her life to Christ. I noted that, you know, and then after that he was preaching another thing. And then he started touching and touching, and you know that he didn't know. He said, I will show you something now. Yeah, now let's do it. Let's do something. And you can imagine the disgrace that is bringing. That man it's not likely that was his first time. You know, it's amazing how God covers you. If you don't make a different turn, you will burn with Sodom. If you don't stand upright and take a turn with God today, you will also burn with Sodom. It doesn't matter whether you're wearing the cassock, but one day you will also burn with Sodom. I mean, you heard students talking out of pain that he did that to me too. He did that to me too when I was there. He did that to me too. Yeah, one day the cup is going to be full. And you see, the Bible says Noah condemned this generation. So as long as there are people who are doing the right thing, they will condemn every single excuse you have for not doing the right thing. And this is where we are this afternoon. We're showcasing men who have made a difference. Now, we are not reading Isaiah, we are not reading Jeremiah. They are not here. So, but these are the witnesses we have in this our time. People who have operated in this same workspace that some of us are pending people's projects. I imagine you are a Christian lecturer and people's projects are in your hands. Listen to me this afternoon. And you are refusing to do justice. You are refusing to do justice to the scripts of people, scripts of other people's children. People are missing their graduating dates. People are being pended to even get ordinary project because they will not sleep with you, or they will not give you money, or they will not do something. Let me tell you this afternoon, you will be judged. Judgment day is coming, and you did it privately. The judgment will be public. It will come at a time you will not even imagine it. And see, you are also laying a bad precedence for your own children. You are working ill will and ill favor for your own children because you are setting a precedence that you will not even desire them to walk into. You are making it difficult for other people's children to move forward at your. I imagine we had lectures like the one you had close by your house the other time. That people will be begging you just to go through their PhD thesis.
And to abandon them, you will not do anything. It's very painful.
And they have to bring gifts. They have to bring gifts, and then we'll go to church on Sunday. And most of the time, sometimes we are even the deacon or the church people's wedding, you know, and then we wear all these big clothes, and then they make us the head Baba Joe or something like that. You are evil, and you are doing evil if you continue to do these kind of things. And we have learned that you are not. Everybody is not like you. Sincerely speaking, there are people who will not. I mean, I had a lecturer. I have never seen that before him. Someone I went back to do my master's in Funab, just Funab there. And then I don't want to mention his name, but I can mention his name, but let me just take it off the air now. He was supervising my project. And then, you know, he now asked us to come to his house because he wanted to give us some scripts, some papers to use to. And then we came there and he spent like 1 hour thereabout with us in his house. He was explaining things, and then he was bringing out papers, and he gave us. Then he said he wants us to get to the university, which is about 45 minutes away from his house. So we drove from his house to the university, and of course at that time we were all hungry. And then he now offered he said we should go and eat. I mean, when a Nigerian lecturer says we should go and eat, the first thing we did was I asked my colleague, I said, how much is in your pocket? Because this eating. So when we got to the canteen, obviously we didn't plan to spend money. So we didn't really have money. So when we got to the canteen, the man said we should order. I said, no, we are not eating that. He should eat, because we were even calculating and we were looking at what he was ordering. Then I said, one bush meat. I said, how much is that? So after he finished ordering the food, I said, what about you? I said, no. We are very okay. We just managed to pay that one. And then he said, what's going on with you? Why are you not eating? I said, we said, we are okay. We are very fine. We don't need food. Then he went to it and said, no, you must eat it. And he said, I'm going to pay.
That's uncommon.
He said, I'm going to pay. I am going to pay. I'm not asking you to
was on
pay.
him.
So we said, what actually happened was we moved to the cashier to ask how much. Then he said, what are you doing? We said, sir, we just want to pay for the. He said, no, you will not pay for my food. I am going to pay for your food. My brother, I have never met, we had,
and the lecturer
this is a guy that spent an hour with us in his house, took us to his office, spent another hour with us in his office, gave us papers, took us to the photocopying place to photocopy the papers. He took us there and took us to eat and paid. Abba. And throughout, he ensured that we finished the project to the letter. And he was also in the panel that supervised that. Defended. We defended that.
The defense.
We scored above board. The external supervisor came and said, "No, this is." I think I had about 90 or something. It was above board. And it was awesome. I've never recovered from that experience, because something tells me, can we have lecturers like
in the
this?
same country? And that shows that we should not give up on our clients here. Things are still happening in the good way. We still have people that have integrity, and they are showcasing it every day with the way they live their life. It's very interesting that is happening within us here. And people have given up. People have written up people that we can't have. We don't have people that can stand for the truth, live right in this on this side of the divide. And we are having that. Like, that's a testimony you are giving about the lecturer.
We're going to move to the civil service, as in that is the bedrock of corruption in Nigeria, for example. That is the tree.
That is where people believe.
That's where they serve the food called corruption. And the trade, the civil service. If you want to do anything, and once you say you have to do with the government, you have to get a document from the government or one ministry or something. Something tells you.
Like we have also, we still have people that are standing out in the civil service also.
Exactly.
That are representing well, that are doing the right
thing. So we have a retired civil servant here who has been able to demonstrate that difference while he was in service. He is retired now, but he was able to demonstrate that difference while he was in service. And we welcome with me Dr. Sholesi. I'm having here Dr. Sholesi comes to us. Is based in the city here in Abeokuta here. He has worked in the Federal Ministry of Education, and he has also worked in Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. He has worked for a longer time, for close to about 20 years thereabout, in the Industrial Training Fund. And he is this Dr. Sholesi Abiodun Lufusho comes to us to this afternoon to share his experiences of standing different while in the civil service. So he's going to join us right now. Thank you, sir. So over to you.
Share your experience with us in being different as a federal civil servant, amongst others.
Let me quickly go to Lagos, where I started as an head of department, head of training in a training organization. And by the time I became the head of training, there had been a trend, because there is a particular assignment which only me can append my signature. Even my boss cannot append his signature on those documents. And I discovered that, number one, people see it as an opportunity to make money, because in Lagos Island specifically, we're dealing with blue chip companies. And when they come in, and if they fail in that assignment, some of them will lose their job. And because of that, they always come with, how do I call it now? They always come to induce you so that you can overlook some procedures. But when I occupy the seat, I've already made up my mind. I said, come, it is my job. Procedure is procedure. Let's follow the procedure and do the job. Initially, I didn't even know they were coming with such things until I was signing those documents. And a particular blue chip company, an oil company specifically, came in. And the individual brought a very fat envelope after discussing with me about their files. And I looked at him, I felt so bad. I said, come, what is this envelope for? And I told him straight on, I said, if you don't pick that envelope and keep it back in your pocket, I'm not going to do your job. He was so embarrassed because he felt that has been the trend. And some of my odd subordinates, or can I call them my associates, they felt, who is this man? He has occupied this position now. This is the time for him to make his money. He doesn't even know how long he's going to stay on this seat. And before I know it, another company came and they started telling one another, don't attempt to give him anything. He will do your job. And he's not interested in getting anything from you, but you must follow procedure. It got to a time, because my boss was taken care of, and he felt that the job was delayed. And I felt, delayed? No, they have not met up with the conditions for me to append my signature on this. My boss was very angry. He shouted, he did everything. I just told him, I said, sir, if I'm the one to append my signature, they must follow procedure. But if I'm not the one, there's no problem. Anybody can append the signature and let it go, because I don't want to stake my integrity on those documents. So the information went around that the officer occupying that position now is not to be given anything. Yeah, your job will be done. But you need to listen to him critically and make sure you follow procedure. Once you follow procedure, no issue at all with him. And that was how that one became the way we worked in that office. So the information went around that the officer occupying that position now
What inspired your difference?
Now, some of my colleagues that I met there, I couldn't see a difference in their life and my life in terms of God making somebody, despite all those things they think they were making from those ends. And in no way are they even better. And number two, all these, my colleagues who had been there earlier than me, they don't even have any substantial thing to point out better than me that wasn't even in that position. And number three, I discovered later too that I had even more respect, and my boss is now coming to me to help them talk to those companies, because they cannot talk to those companies because they have been bought, they have been paid. Whatever service they render, they are paid for it, and they don't even earn that respect. But what really informed me is that, number one, I know all these other incomes, so to say, which is not an income, which is not a righteous income, the way you collect that money, the same way you are going to spend it, before you know it, even the one that belongs to you, you will equally waste it. And in order not to get into self-destruct, as it comes, just stay on your lane and allow God to make you. And what really informed me is the scripture. Because when Jesus Christ met those disciples while they were fishing, he said, follow me and I will make you. At that point, I said, come, it's only God that can make me. Man cannot make me. If God doesn't make me, no man can make me. And on that strength, I just relaxed. I said, come. So the information went around that the officer occupying that position now.
What are the pains or losses you have suffered for choosing to be different?
You know, there's no gain without pain. That one, you cannot remove it. I lost a promotion when I was supposed to be promoted. And why? Simply because the chief executive felt this one is standing alone. It's not, let me use the word, it's not cooperating. It doesn't see the way we see. And that pained me so much that, on what ground? And that made one of my colleagues to be lifted above me in that promotion. And I felt very, very bad. Not only that, there are some jobs that ought to come to my table, but they will just say, come, that guy is not going to play ball. That's the word. Don't give it to him. And they quickly ostracize me and even take that job away to another department. Such a way that I was sitting down, I had no job. At that point, I have to console myself immediately. But you can't be this guy. And the only thing you can do now, can add value to yourself. Within that period, I said, okay, let me ask for staff development. And I went for my postgraduate diploma, postgraduate master's program. I did that one. Even that, I already blessed the name of the Lord, because during the time of my postgraduate program, my master's program now, the same people now came and said, come, we are only trying to put this guy away. We can't push him away. Right there, it lifted me up to be the head of that department. I said, wow. Somebody rose up again, but it's not development. It's not entitled to come again to the days. I said, shut it down. You are the management staff. Can you see God even come through the time of pain? I was able to even do my master's program within that period. So the pain is there, or was there, but it won't last forever. So the information went around that officer occupying that position now.
What gains that have come as a result of being different?
There was a time they got some names of my colleagues that are going to be trained locally, and then they're going to be sent out for training outside Nigeria. And my name was not even there at all. Naturally, I'm a natural human being. It pained me. I wasn't happy that my name was omitted. And some people came to me and said, you too, go and meet them. When you meet them, they will respect you because they know you, at least they will respect you as a pastor. And God wanted me. I said, come. And they want to make you. And when you go there to lobby, number one, they will not talk about you as a person. They will talk about you as a Christian, as a believer. And we equally come to around and say, okay,
You say you are not doing this, why are you coming to us? So you are coming to us to do what others are doing. And God sincerely warned me, don't do what others are doing. Just go straight and train me. And they trained them locally, and then some of them were also sent abroad for training. And God told me, I will make you. And not only that, before I got to know it, because let me still come down to how it all happened. Before I know it, that the one that even came to me and said, with this job you are doing, you need training in this area. Before I know it, they sent me to the United Kingdom for training. And, you know, as a child of God, what attracts other people will not attract you. When you get outside Nigeria or outside anywhere, it's not different from where you are. It depends on your value. So I didn't place value on what most of my colleagues that we travel together to almost all those countries are doing. So I just depended on God, and I wasn't doing all those buying, show up. Because God said that He's going to make me. So I was able to listen to God. That's number one. Number two, by the time I come back from the first trip to the United Kingdom, I came back again, and what I was doing as head of research, everybody now began to recognize skill. You see, when God is on your side, He announces you. And at the time, all those things we fizzled out. Before I know it, we had a job in research to be done in the United Nations Industrial Organization, UNIDO. Quickly, they said, who can represent us, to represent the organization to do the research to the UNIDO? You know, I was elected. And everybody was like, wow. And before I know it, I started working with UNIDO. And before I know it, I started traveling from this country, study tour, and study that. Before I know it again, I came. You know, all the people are gained through backdoor, through covetousness, through unrighteousness. God made it a straight, just straighten it up. God made it in His own way, and it became so clean. It got to the time in my career that they are the one even calling me, to the extent that I came back from one trip from another country, and I was just reporting that, the journey was hectic, the cost was so demanding. Before I know it, they said, "Oh, thank you very much for what you said. You still have to go by next week again to another country." I said, "Excuse me, what course am I going for?" Because when you are talking about covetousness, it comes in different way. It comes in different styles. At times, it comes to you as an opportunity. And those opportunities may not really be an opportunity. It may be a trap. Because they wanted me to go for it. I've already undergone outside the country the same cost content. And quickly then I said, "Excuse me, sir, I've done this course before. Can you please send some of my associates? Let them go for this program." They looked at me again and said, "Kai, so this man is not even attracted with the extra code." Yes, I can get all those things. Is it the will of God for me to go and do a repeat of that course? I just felt no. And told me immediately, "Okay, can you recommend some of your associates to go for this program?" Exactly, that was what I did. And to God be the glory, where I am today, I think I can gracefully say most colleagues who are cutting corners and the rest of it, that to that, I give all the glory to God.
All right. So that was Dr. Sholesi Abiodun there for us. and he said some very interesting things there. He talked about the pains, how some of these stands will have costed him a promotion. And when people lose promotion because you are not playing ball, this is the third time I'm hearing somebody say they are playing ball. And I was saying that yesterday, that there's a lot of playing ball going on in this country, and said because he was not going to be willing to play ball, he lost a promotion there. But at the end of the day, it still paid off for him because he was justified. He was able to demonstrate skill that was needed, and he had to be reverted back to. So,
it pays on the long run. Immediately you may suffer something setback, but it pays. And these are living examples of people who are civil servants, who work in the public space, and they stood for righteousness. And God came for them. God will come for you if you choose to stand different for God. That is what we classically display by the testimony of the socialists.
All right, thank God for such men. If you are a civil servant and you're watching this broadcast this afternoon or anytime in the day that you get to be watching this broadcast, please be challenged that in the midst of it all, he said something there. He said that he was offered the privilege of going for a course that he had attended something like that exactly before, and money was going to be involved. He was going to be giving money, maybe about $1,000 or something, to be able to pass that course. But he declined that this is a waste. I've done this before. Let someone else go ahead. I mean, if I was a staff in that man's office, even if I don't know anything about Jesus, I mean, what that simple occasion, if I'm now the beneficiary of his own largesse, I mean, I'm going to be touched for life that somebody did this.
He declined an opportunity for a repeat training and now passed it on to me.
Someone. I mean, if he tells me let's go to church on Sunday together, I mean, I wouldn't say no, because he has demonstrated that he lack of that non-covetous, attitude. All right, so we have more of them. And what we're saying that, remember we said yesterday that God said to Elijah, I have 7,000 who are men who have not bowed down their knees to bow. So when you people tell you all civil servants are corrupt, tell them God has 7,000 people who have not bowed down their knees to bow. Not all civil servants. Just and we will keep this program going on even after the National Men's Summit to keep showcasing even students, because there's so many people out there, tailors, organizers, cooks, different people. In all walks of life, God will not leave himself without the remnant soldiers who have stood deep. I'm telling you, one of our National Men's Summits in Jos Plateau State, we had a colonel, and he came to say how he met Christ on the field, and he was awesome. He was awesome. He told us how he was initially drinking and womanizing, and how soldiers do on warfare and all that kind of stuff. But he said he had an encounter with God, and it changed his perspective entirely. It was even as one asked many times I've read the Bible, and then a colonel. I mean, we were shocked to the things that there could be such men as this. I mean, we just saw soldiers coming into the camp. We were first initially scared, but then we saw that this man, was this heavy, and he demonstrated the life. So there are people making the difference, not just by reading the Bible, but by doing the Bible. All right. So we have another experience here to garner from a retired tax administrator. When you say tax, your heart skips boom boom a little bit, because it's money. When you say go to the tax office, and you know that something's about to happen, So we have a retired tax administrator who also has an experience here to share with us, and he's Mr. Oyebanjo Babashola. He was a principal tax assistant collection officer who began and rose and I mean he rose so well when he was in the service, but he has retired, and we want to take some experience from him. So we want to move to the studios right now and connect to take the experience of Mr. Oyebanjo Babashala. So join us, sir. Thank you.
Share your experience with us in being different as a tax administrator amongst others.
Well, thank you very much. My years in the service was well, challenging and eventful. As a medium level officer, I was part of the collection officers, and while I was at that, there were issues of people making, sharp, quick practices, like you want to collect money from taxpayers and help them to pay while you gain yours from it. But I chose not to be part of that. I remember a case in 1985 that while we were there, one of my colleagues wanted to help the taxpayer to pay. I didn't know that he had stolen the check, and came to me after we have closed the counter for the day, wanted to help him to issue the receipts. So, the whole thing went haywire, and eventually about 4 other officers were involved. All of them were dismissed. And I was spared because I knew nothing about it. And that was some of the first instance. Okay, there was another instance where my direct boss, who was in charge of the collection then, usually once in a while we collect cash for pre-operation levy. This was years 1987 for collection levy, and 85, 86. And we had been collecting the cash. He had the key to the safe and the chief accountant, and he's been keeping the money. Suddenly, he had to go and leave. Before then, he had brought money. He normally goes to pay himself, pay the cash himself to send back. One of those days, he asked me to help him to pay it, so I went to the central bank. Young man, middle level officer, was. As I got to the bank and I was paying, of course, he had counted the teller and given me the money. I presented it to the cashier at the central bank, but I was watching him. And he started counting. I had seen ahead that the money that I was getting was much more than what was in the teller. So he was confused to my advantage. I was saying, what's going on? I said, just bring it. So I collected the money. and sorted it out, counted the real written amount, gave it to him, he stamped the check, stamped the tell, and gave, of course, I had retained the remaining. It was about 4,000 naira in 1985, which was enough to buy a car. So I collected the money and brought it back to the office. And all the guys started easing. Oh, this guy, we thought you are smart, 4,000 naira and all that. That was the first instance. It happened at another time. And this time it was short, and I came back and, like that. Of course, eventually he went on leave. One of those times he went on leave, I had access to the safe, and collecting the key from the chief accountant, using our own key also, I counted, and I saw that money was short. We had about 45,000 naira short. So I called my colleagues, there's a problem. Auditors must not to us. We'll be in trouble. So the first thing we did was to go and lodge all the money in bank, because we are not supposed to keep such money. And then we lodged it. And then we now sat down together. I said, well, I can't come back. We have to tell the chief accountant. We tried to send somebody to him. He said he was coming to the office so that we know where came. And after he left, we discovered that the shortage has risen to 47,000. You took 2,000 naira away again. So that was what prompted us to go and lodge the money back. And then we reported to the chief accountant and to the authorities. And then eventually he was asked to come. Of course, the man is smart. He saw that all the papers, all our previous ledgers has been withdrawn, and we are using new one. He sat down for a while and then said he was going to the toilet. He's still in the toilet today.
Briefly express your pain and gain experiences for choosing to be different.
Let me talk about one that was even interesting. I was in the office that day, very broke. And in fact, I trekked to the office that day. And I was in the office. I just felt like going to the toilet. As I opened my door, I saw somebody pacing in front of me. I said, yes, what can I do for you? And then he started saying he wanted to see me. I said, so why did you come in? And he said, when I saw that he was coming, I said, okay, come in. Let's discuss what you wanted. So he came in. And when he sat down, he was asking for a favor. And was asking me if I would give him a certified true copy of a credit note. The original he couldn't find, so he could not use it as deposit in the office. He wanted to use it, of course, and he wanted me to give him a clearance. Give him a certified true copy of the credit notes. So when I saw that, I said, okay, let me check. And then he started saying that they were going to pay me handsomely for doing that. I will not mention the amount because that amount then was a lot of money. When he mentioned the money, I became alarmed. Of course, don't forget that I said I trekked to the office that day. And because I believe in just doing my job and collect my salary and go away. And when he offered me that money, because it was much, initially I couldn't reject it. I said, go and come back. Let me think about it. Of course, as a Christian, I had to go to pray. Why is he offering me this money? It's something I could have done for him without him offering me money. But so I started suspecting that there is something sinister about it. So by the time he came back the following day, number one, I had asked myself, if I collect this money, how will I will have sold Jesus Christ. That's number one. Number two, where will I tell my wife I got such a money from? Because she will certainly ask me, okay, what will I tell my pastor when I begin to do some things? What will I tell my friends, my spiritual friends who we were moving together and praying together? Where will I say I got this kind of money? So the following day, by the time he came back, I had become very bold. So I told him, I said, well, I was not going to do that for him. And that I will take him to my boss. If she gives the go-ahead for us to do it, fine. Then she can do it for him. For me, I won't. So, of course, I took him to my boss. And by the grace of God, I had a testimony with her. By the time I told her what he wanted, and she just asked me a simple question. So did you do it for him? I said, no, I didn't do it for him. I couldn't do it for him. I felt he should come and talk to me. She just told him point blank that she wasn't going to do it. She'd go and find a way. Of course, I could have done it quietly, collect the money, and feel cool. It's a norm. But in my heart, I will have sold Jesus. Apart from that, I had friends that we were praying, studying, and doing things together, and they know my testimony. If I begin to spend, they'll be wondering, bros, where are you getting the money from? And of course, there were other occasions that were opportunities, even asking me, not necessarily because I did anything, just wanted me to falsify issues, remove the penalties, and they will reward me handsomely. I refused. I even took a company to court because of that. And eventually, they had to pay. I could have reduced the penalties, waive the interest, collect the money, put it in my pockets, and it would have been okay. But I didn't learn Christ like that.
I'd like you to just highlight one or two of those stories or three to encourage people who want to be different, that there are actually people who are different. Because people feel everybody is different. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. My years in the service was, challenging and eventful. As a medium level officer, I was at a point part of the collection officers. And while I was at that, there were issues of people making, because if you are really righteous, go and you are not doing other businesses, and you go by the salary, government salary, I suspect
need to cut because of that. And eventually, whether with the improvement in salary now, you can do anything tangible with it, paying children's school fees and all that. But God helped us. And that's my story.
All right, that was an input from Mr. Shola Oyebanjo. You want to say one or two things there?
Yes, he pointed something. I want to say to you viewers at home that it is not being different using office money for personal runs, diverting office resources to your personal usage. He mentioned a critical example as being the collectors, where the number one, they were not even supposed to keep cash that much, but the boss was keeping cash in the store. Number two, the money was being used for personal runs by the boss, and everything boomerang. So you can't be different that way. And if you want to live a life of testimony, you don't divert company or equipment for personal use. I spoke to a friend a time ago that said, oh, while he was working with one of the oil companies, some of the bosses in the oil company, they will issue out a contract to their own personal companies and use office staff to execute those contracts. You're supposed to do maintenance. You award it to company A, and you tell the technician in the office to go and do it, as if an external person is doing it, and yet you put the money in your pocket. These are indices. All these are things that make our society to rot, and it shows that we are not different men. So if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, and you are doing such thing, that is not being smart. That is being unrighteous. Thank you.
And he mentioned something there about the man staying in the toilet.
Up to today.
Up to today.
Yes, it's the past
so
25
people
years.
abandon all their years of service and run away just at a blowing of a whistle. So that's the Bible says the wicked run it when no man is
even pursuing.
all right. So the righteous are as bold as a lion. I remember back then I worked in the civil service for over 12 years, and I remember back then one of the days I was with a colleague in the car, and my phone rang, and I just picked the phone, and then I was like, "Who's that?" And then I dropped the call, and then the guy was telling me, "You don't even check. You just pick phone. You are so free. You are so you are not. Maybe somebody is pursuing you or the debt or something." I said that I don't have debt. I don't have. I mean,
Nobody is.
And I told him, I said, the day I leave this office, I don't need 1 week or 2 months of trying to tidy up, pending documents and pending, holes and loopholes there. I don't need. I'll pack my table the same day and I'm out. There's nothing attaching there. So if you're righteous there, it shows. You don't need to run away when auditors are coming. You don't need to be scared. When people see you in civil service, when auditors are coming, people start getting scared. You don't need to be scared if your tables are clean. And we've seen people who are also demonstrating that there, and they know them. If you get to any ministry, any government office, they know them. They will tell you, I've heard a security person say there are only 2 Christians in this office. And of course, this person and that person. And of course, there are over several Christians in quotes in that office. But the security person was able to identify 2. you know, and
By virtue of what
it's amazing how
your
it starts
lifestyle.
by what you sign in when you come to the office. All right. So when you start signing 7:15,
When you came in at 8:15.
and you came in at 8:15, you know, that's where it starts from. You know, that little things like that, that's where it starts from. Little lies like that. And then you now go and did the office fellowship. All right. You say, let us pray. You know, you say, let us pray, and you lead the office fellowship, and then your attendance is a lie. All right. Or you didn't come to the office and somebody had to sign for you that you were there. All right. So those little things. And then when you ask civil servants to go on training, to go for, I know you now begin to see the people that are immoral and all that. So many bad things there. And you should just make sure that you live above the board. And when you live above the board, the righteousness pays, exalts a nation and every day. So thank you, Mr. Babashola, for that experience there. Being a tax administrator, and at several points he noted also that he was able to say, no, I can't do this. And you can't say no. People need to know you can say no. You can even say no to friends, because sometimes friends will push you to do the mago thing for them. And then you can say, no, you know I don't do this. I can't do this. And that's it. So we have another person here who worked in the public servant, and he comes with an experience even from the force, paramilitary force in the era, workspace. I have with me Mr. Yinka Oyelusi. He's one person who has demonstrated some grace in that and reason so high, even in his own workspace. We have on set here, welcome with me, Mr. Yinka Oyelusi.
We have a testimony of you being different as a senior immigration officer, amongst others. What life principles inspire this?
What makes the difference is Christ, who has been the bedrock of my life. And wherever Christ is, then things should be different, not in line with how other people are doing it. That Christ factor should show clearly that this is this one is of Christ. And so Christ has been the foundation and the bedrock of my life, and that is the difference. And what I really consider is that when you are representing Christ somewhere and you are acting, you will ask yourself some fundamental question. How will he have done it if he's physically present here? Will he have done it differently, or will he be in line with the common norms? And definitely we see that the Christ factor has to be different, and that is what has clearly shown and what people have seen and noticed and are making comments on. Also, the life of a man does not consist in the abundance of what he possesses. That's what the scripture says. So, running, craving after what others are running after is not the order of the day, because I am not in competition
with anybody. I have my own life to live and my own race to run and account of my life to give to who I am representing. So all those factors form the foundation of my attitude towards work and the relationship towards those who are coming for services or to obtain our facilities in our place of work.
Share your experience with us in being different as a senior immigration officer amongst others.
From my own experience and what I have gathered is that a lot of people are ignorant of what the service charges are, and because of their desperation to get the facility they needed, they fall victim of inflation of charges. So, and they will have been thinking that it is normal. But for those who care enough, they check the website and see what has been clearly stipulated there. The prices on the website excluded bank charges and the administrative charge to keep the office running. But despite that, a lot of outrageous fee has still been in charge to line individual pockets. Look tempting though, that's a cheap way of making money. But since it is not in the right way and it is against the law of God, and the service even go against it, but anybody that is doing it is just doing it at the expense of chance. Maybe if I'm caught or if I'm not caught, I get away with it. At a time, a couple came for the reissuance of their passport, and along the line, the man's case and file was okay, but the woman, I noticed a foreign name there, so there has to be a query on that file, and the man said that she's a naturalized Nigerian. So that brings up another query, because the reissuance of the document of naturalized Nigerian has to be done at the service headquarters. But an error had already been made along the line. The first reissuance of that passport has been done at the state command level. And my friend who is assisting them now want me to build up on that error by giving approval. And once I sign, the passport will be produced. And I said, no, because this is what the law says. Anything that affects the reissuance of facilities of a naturalized Nigerian must be directed to the service headquarters. So this, my friend who went out together with them, they came back and said, this man is ready to offer you money. So this is not about money, but about our commitment, patriotism and nationalism, loyalty to the service. And they said, okay, they'll come back the following day. The following day, they came, the man now said, my flight ticket money to Abuja, my hotel accommodation money, my food allowance, this is everything, and take. Your sign, nobody will know. I said, no, because it is wrong. Then I now approached my superior officer, the one in charge. I said, this is what I noticed in the course of rendering my services. I said, okay, put up a write-up and tell this man why the
reissuance of the passport of the wife was rejected. So I said, okay, and I put up the letter that we cannot attend to their requests at the state level. They should go to service headquarters where they can be attended to. So having mounted pressure, and the man realized that he could not have his way, decided to go to Abuja. And on getting to Abuja, he was told that the man you met at the command level was right. So when he returned, he came to me and said, I'm very sorry for stressing you. They said, you are right. And the man was very happy. It could have happened that one could have been tempted to collect the money, and along the line, it backfired to spoil the name, to spoil the testimony that has already been established, that you two, you have joined FCU, this scandal that has been attached to your name. Another story like that happened in relation with a mother that came for application of passport for the daughter who is a minor underage. So along the line, when a questioning was being done to ascertain whether she's the true mother of that baby, discovered that the tongue was twisted, and investigation revealed that she wasn't a Nigerian, thereby not qualified to hold Nigerian passports. So she was asked to make a statement of the place of birth of the mother, the father, the grandfather, the grandmother, since none of them belong to any place that is indigenous to Nigeria. That disqualifies her from having access to that passport. And the passport was withdrawn instantly. But we continue with the process of that of the baby. So along the line, the younger brother to the husband, because her husband was in Kuwait, now started coming, saying, I should release the passport for them, this and this. I should name my price. Whatever I want is going to be given to me. But since I know that it is wrong to do such a thing or to collect such a money and betray the loyalty to the nation, I stood my ground. That never, it's not me, it may be through another person, but since it's passing through my table and the passport is in my custody, it is withdrawn for life. Not only that it was withdrawn, a letter was written, the woman was taken to our zonal office, because anybody who is holding Nigerian passport without a right to it, the case has to be determined at the service headquarters. So that was how she was bundled to the service headquarters. That act and that recovery made my boss to really, really have confidence in me. And whenever she's going anywhere, she believed that the ground is safe, the home front is safe, and nothing will go wrong.
What are the pains or losses you've suffered for choosing to be different?
The major pain that I would like to comment on and emphasize on is the career progression. There has to be a rat race of aligning yourself with someone who is at the board. And because I failed to do such a thing, I lost a promotion along my career. Maybe I could have retired as a controller, but I now retire as a deputy controller. And the painful aspect of it is that the one that I lost, it's not as if I did not have that opportunity, because I was actually approached. As at the time we wrote the exam, I was in the admin of the command. So all the people that came from Abuja, they have to pass through me in arranging their accommodation and doing one thing or the feeding and so on. So one called me and said, this and this and this. But since I did not do it, I lost that promotion. And interestingly, someone who is not even qualified, who didn't write exam with us, came from behind, from superintendent to assistant controller. But because a lot of arguments came up, and it generates controversy. And at the end of the day, they have to remove his name from the promotion. But that slot, maybe which could have been for me, because the person is equally from Ogun, was lost for life. I didn't gain it, and that really affected me. As at the time we are growing along the service, there's a unit that is called investigation. We go out to companies on inspection, routine check, and to check the documents if any of the expatriates have violated the immigration law. So we were grouped, group A, group B, but there was a particular group that I fall into. The members of the group, they were arranged behind and go and do their investigation, only to come to the office to come and give a report. I said, but I belong to this group. They said, we will not take you along, and they insisted on it. And our OC did not even do anything about it. So it was somehow painful.
What are the gains that have come as a result of being different?
There are gains. And I'll begin to enumerate those people or our superior officers and colleagues that are watching. They know who is who. And when it comes to giving assignments of that reflects integrity, honesty, and objectivity, they know who to call. For example, in the command that one of the command that I served, I came across someone that we have met before, and he happened to be the one in charge of that command. So when he was asked to constitute disciplinary committee, those who will be trying hearing officers. So he said he looked around, he didn't see any other person that he can pick other than me. Even though I was thinking that he's giving me extra job, say, my friend, go and occupy that position. I know you can do it, you will handle it better. So along the line also, whenever he's not around, he will nominate me to represent him outside the command. There was a time there was a crisis within Benue. The head of military, paramilitary, have to meet with the governor. So he wasn't around. I had superior officers around, but he nominated me that I am the one that should go and represent him. Also, when the opportunity for slot came for the pilgrimage, Christian pilgrimage to Jerusalem, it was on December. I was already at home for Christmas. I just had a call and said, Oyelusi, I have submitted your name to the Christian pilgrimage board. So I was surprised that this thing that people always scramble for, lobby for, just came like that on a platter of gold to me. So all this, it has been as a result of appreciation of how I've been doing my work, how I've been conducting myself, and the nature that it sees that I show off in the office.
All right. Thank God for that testimony there from Mr. Yinka Oyelusi. Awesome, awesome. It's amazing how such expensive stand could and the cost quite expensive stand, and that makes people, you know, what you could have done to get something higher there, but because it contradicts the law of your God, you decided to suffer it, and then, you know, just bear it like that. And there's nothing, it can never get that promotion anymore. But there's a promotion that comes from above that is more than any human promotion there. So those are the things that make people bend rules. What do you want to say?
At my level, for me, what I want to say is, let's say it. Making a stand to be different will cost you. It will not always, all the time, be rosy. The three Hebrew children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, said, "Let it be clear to you, O king, we are not ready. We are not going to bow. We are not bowing to your idol. And if you choose to throw us into the fire, our God is is able to deliver us. But should he not deliver us, we are still not going to bow. We prefer to burn than to bow." So sometimes you will go through experiences in your course of being different that will seem like you're burning, that will seem like you're going through this denial. It will look in the immediate. It's gonna look as if things are a bit difficult for you. If we tell you that standing different is going to be easy and rosy, that there will not be nights in which you are crying and begging God to help you, we will not be presenting the entire fact, but that it is possible, that men have done it before, and that men have also triumphed, and God had stood with them. And the compensation we are talking about from God is not just the promotions you have and the blessings you have. What of your children and the generations after you? The Bible says God visits or rewards the righteous, even to 1,000 generations. So standing with God, it's not just, when I stood with God, they now gave me a car. When I stood with God, they gave me a promotion. Some will not even happen in your time. Some will happen with your children and your children's children. Thank you.
All right. So that said, it's been a wonderful time talking about these people that are standing different. And let's say it clearly here that, again, there are 7,000 who have not bowed down their knees to bow. There are so many righteous people out there who are taking a stand. And look at a unique dimension to the stand we just watched right now, that a situation whereby if you're not taking that stand, it affects the integrity of a nation. It affects the integrity of a nation. If you are not taking that stand, because you now find you put somebody in charge of the security. Yes, you now get so you compromise things that affect the destiny of a whole nation. You do things that have a far-reaching impact. So if somebody gives somebody else another person's passport and you do all that, you mix things up, your actions have far-reaching consequences when you do that. And sometimes we bring foreigners into some things because of fund, and then we compromise the integrity of your nation because of somebody's money or dollars out there or pound sterling. And then this acronym that says there's nothing you can't do with money. See, we need to get to a point where we can actually take a stand and say, I remember some years back in the civil service, I took a stand as a head of an ICT department there. And so when people have issues, they come and they make offers to get their jobs done. And I remember there was a particular day, a particular client came and said, what do you want me to do? I need this job done. And I told the person, look at me eyeball to eyeball. There is nothing you can do to me that will change the timing you will get this job. There's nothing you can give me. You will get the job when you should get the job. I'm doing my best to make sure I will serve that and make sure that you get this job done. And the next thing the guy was going to say really shocked me. You know what the guy said? The guy said, they told me outside. I said, what did they tell you? He said, they told me that when I get inside here, the best thing I can do is to beg, but I should never offer anything. See, people know you when you stand for right. They know. You may think they don't notice. They know. I was on the road, and then this car just parked. There were people there, about 2-3 people, and then the guy parked and just asked me, he said, where are you going? I said, I am going, don't worry. He said, Mr. Coker, he said, please come in. No, he didn't even ask me where I was going. He said, Mr. Coker, please come in. I said, no, sir, where are you going? He said, he told the people in the car, all of you in this car, please, you will bear with me. Wherever this man is going, I am carrying him there first before we take our own job. I was like, what happened? I said, you didn't even ask. I said, sir, get inside the car. So, I mean, I felt embarrassed because the other people in the car were just looking at, who is the man? So I entered the car, and then the guys started the story. He told them, said, look, all of you in this car. See, this man is a righteous man. And he did this, he did that, he did that. And you see, in righteousness is not based on how well you preach. It's amazing that it's not about how well you preach. Preaching is easy. I used to tell people can say, no, that guy is a good preacher. If you learn preaching like mechanic, you can really preach. Preaching is not that difficult if you really learn it. And let me tell you, if you don't, it's just that if you don't really listen well, you may not know some people are learning trade in that area. Because I remember I was in a particular meeting and somebody was saying, I've heard this message before. I said, wow, which message? He said, he's going to say this, he's going to say this, he's going to say, and lo and behold, the person was saying exactly what. So I told the person, well, do you have the original message? let me go and listen to the original. No, I mean, so you can learn preaching. You can learn all the, quitters and winners and winners and quitters and winners and all that stuff. You can learn all those things. But the real Christianity impact comes from your life. And that's why we showcase all these people. So this is how we take it, round it up for today. The next session continues from here. We believe, watching us right now, we've been able to showcase a number of people who have stood their ground for right. In that office, if you're watching us right now, you know at least it is possible. You can take a stand today. Some of the people that came on set have not always been good. Some of them have compromised before. But at a point in time, they decided not to anymore. And you can. The more people we have changing their minds and deciding to do the right thing and deciding to say, look, I used to collect money to do this, but no more. The more lecturers we have saying, I used to collect money from people who can't write exams because they are in the office and all that. I used to pass them. Imagine how many people have MBAs and didn't even attend classes. Imagine how many people have passed exams and don't even know the course. I met a lady who was a manager by promotion, but in the office, a senior officer was saying, we can't even give her a letter to write.
Manager.
And we can't even give her a document to write for the office. And by the time I started interviewing the lady, she told me point blank, she said, let me not lie to you. I paid to enter university. I paid for my MBA. I paid for. If somebody collected that money, somebody awarded that certificate. Now, even if you help somebody to do his or her project, you are part of the issues. That's the truth, because that person is going to collect the honors of having all the knowledge. And you know, it's amazing. It's amazing how Christians will tell you that I can be in the office, there, a private office, you are working morning till night, and then you go to a university and pay up for a master's in business administration. God knows that you don't know what, you don't earn the worth of that document. You have you have rubbished the integrity, the labors, and the labors and the travails that ought to come before that award. And it shows. It will show. Even if you passed, you entered university with a WAEC certificate that you paid a village school to arrange for you, it will show. It will show. Ask some of these people to write proposals, to write intelligent documents, to write letters. It will show. If you keep dubbing in class, it will show. One day your children will ask you, Daddy, can you help us factorize this equation? Then you will go to the toilet. And you will be there. You'll be there. All right, so that's where we wrap it up. The more we have different people, the more Nigeria gets. It's not about the more we have better presidents. It's about the more we have different people, because the people are the government. That's why we call it today. Next is a seminar coming up on the screen and in the studio here. We're going to be presenting a seminar. You can pick any of the options they're projecting. They're going to project the seminar options on the screen, and then you can pick any of the seminars you would like to attend there. It's going to take place on Zoom, so the Zoom links will be sent to you, and also broadcasted on MixLR for the ones they choose to broadcast there. Then our next session after then is going to come at 5 o'clock, and that's going to be the SOV Relationship School. Wow, with Pastor Segun Ariyo, and we're also going to have Pastor Oshiri Wisdom for the singles. Pastor Segun Ariyo is going to be talking to the married. Pastor Oshiri Wisdom is going to be talking to the singles. And by 9 p.m., we are going to start the grand finale. And it's going to start with P. Daniel. All right, P. Daniel is coming by 9 p.m. and is coming with that youthful passion to talk about different guys. Now we're talking about different men. Now we're going to be talking about different guys. By 9 p.m., it's going to be an awesome time, and that's going to lead us to the grand finale of the National Men's Summit 2020. Thank you for joining us. God bless you.
Maker of all things, I worship you. Giver of all things, I worship you. You're the reason for my being, the anchor to my soul. You're the way maker, end of my search. For these and more I say, you're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. Savior of my life, I worship you. Joy to the nations, I worship you. You're the reason for my song. I love to sing your praise. You're the way maker, end of my search for peace and more. I say, you're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're a wonder. You're a wonder. You're a wonder to my soul. You're the first and the last. Jesus, you're a wonder to my soul. The one that died, the one that rise, the one that lives forever. Yes, and I, that's right, and live forever. Till my soul, you're the one. You're a wonder. Libra godo shara gadara bosh.